What's going on, guys? We're at the end of these top 5 lists that I've been putting together for you guys over the last couple weeks. I know you guys have enjoyed them, but this one's going to be the last one. This one's hopefully going to be the most interesting for you guys. Just some crazy predictions that I wanted to kind of throw out there. And this one's going to be kind of modeled around a popular one I did a few weeks ago that was around kind of the crazy just general retail predictions for 2019. That was not necessarily category driven. Wasn't sports nutrition, nutritional supplements, functional food, beverages, the categories that I know the majority of my following cares most about. So I wanted to kind of put a piece of content out on that here. And this one's not going to be product centric or anything like that. This is all going to be business side. Most of them are going to be around kind of predicted acquisitions or moves that are going to happen in the sports nutrition, nutritional supplement, functional CPG industry. So without further ado, let me get into my top 5 predictions for 2019. Before I kind of get into my list, just want to put out a disclaimer or preface all of these statements by saying these are just my own personal thoughts. This isn't anything insider information, nothing that you guys should be taking as investment advice. You guys should not be taking any of this information and utilizing it in a way that you might think that I'm giving you some actionable insights on. These are just my predictions. These are things that are kind of crazy in my mind that I'd like to throw out there and see if maybe I can get a few of them right. I wholeheartedly believe, because these are kind of outlandish, that the majority of these 5 I'm not going to get correct, and you guys are going to laugh at me at the end of this year, but I think it's going to be fun overall just to kind of throw a few of these out there. So my number 1 is going to be, I believe, AB InBev, kind of Anheuser-Busch's portfolio name at this point. I believe they buy a portion of Bang Energy in 2019. So my reasoning behind this is that there's already been some talks around having them work on the distribution side, and I think that's where the acquisition kind of comes in. There's going to be kind of an exchange of value that happens with beverage brands where essentially AB InBev says, hey, we want to get an energy player in the traditional market. We already own Highball Energy. We'd like to get a traditional energy player to compete against the monsters, the Red Bulls, the rock stars, because we are focusing a lot of our attention on non-alcoholic brands, and we need a player. The fastest growing player in the space is Bang Energy. I think at this point they're number 4 biggest energy brand in the US. So it's the most logical target for AB InBev to take a piece of Bang Energy, which I'm not sure how Bang Energy is structured within VPX, if it's a subsidiary, they spun it off somehow, or if it's actually just a brand within the VPX company. So obviously there'd have to be some finagling on the financial side just to make that work. But I think it's going to be one of those things where Bang Energy, though they're growing so quickly, they could definitely use a distribution partner, a national distribution partner like AB InBev. They're not going to obviously get into the ones that already have established players. So at this point, I think you're going to be looking at either AB InBev or maybe even the Keurig Dr. Pepper, but I believe most of their acquisition strategy is they want to wholly own the property. So I don't believe that that's going to be something that Jack Owak, the CEO of VPX, would ever probably want. So I'm going to go with AB InBev acquire a piece of Bang Energy through some distribution agreement in 2019. My second kind of outlandish prediction is that But.Not Comm is actually going to be sold by Liberty Media. I think everybody that's followed me for a good length of time knows my backstory and how But.Not Comm has been a kind of an integral part of my being in this industry. But I think at this point, Liberty Media has basically written off the investment from, I think, 2008. They've basically written it off from an accounting standpoint. I had a piece of content that I just put out recently if you guys want to go back and look at that one. But basically, I believe at this point, Liberty Media has kind of extracted all the value they can. They are kind of at a loss in terms of how to flip this around in the short term to make it effective. And I think they go out and try to find a suitor for But.Not Comm. Who that suitor looks like, I'm not sure. I think we could speculate it a bunch of different ways. I think it's a matter of price at this point. There are some valuable pieces of But.Not Comm. It's just a matter of how the acquirer values those things, is going to make sense. But I see Liberty Media moving But Not Comm sometime this year. My third kind of outlandish prediction in the functional CPG industry space is going to be that Glanbia goes out and buys EAS. Mid 2018, there were some letters that got shared to major customers from Abbott Labs, which owns EAS, that basically they were shuttering the EAS brand. They're ending production, kind of sell through some of your product. What kind of surprised me at that point was that Abbott Laboratories didn't go out and find a purchaser for EAS. I think the EAS name, though, is far less value than it did decades ago. It still has a lot of value, especially internationally, especially in some of the food, drug, mass convenience channels. You have some value still there, value that a lot of sports nutrition, nutritional supplement brand portfolios would love to get their hands on. So though I think Abbott has been kind of slow playing the sale of EAS, I think somebody's going to come along this year. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Glanbia, but it obviously could be somebody else, could be private equity firm that could come in, put a couple of different brands together in a portfolio. I'm not exactly sure. I'm just going to say that it kind of fits. It kind of fits Glanbia in terms of where they're moving some of their transactions with like Slim Fast. A lot of these like ready to eat, ready to drink category type products, also with having so heavy distribution internationally with Glanbia, I think it just kind of fits into their model. So that's why I'm going to be predicting that this year Glanbia goes out and purchases the assets of EAS from Abbott Laboratories. A fourth kind of outlandish prediction is going to be that GNC and Vitamin Shoppe both announced further store location cuts in 2019. We saw a lot of store closure announcements in 2018 from GNC. I think, full count, if you're kind of putting both of them together, is close to 1,000 stores of their 8,500 global locations. I think that number does get a little bit bigger in 2019 after they look at things again. Vitamin Shoppe has not made many public announcements in terms of their store closures, but their C-suite team in the last quarterly announcement did say that they were going to be looking at a store optimization plan. They're going to be seeing what makes sense in their real estate portfolio for closures in 2019. So I definitely think you're going to see both of them go out and further close stores. I think at this point it's a matter of trying to figure out what is the perfect amount of store locations, real estate square footage, in different metro areas to make sense for the amount of foot traffic that's coming in, to be able to service those customers in the same level that they've been getting service for all the years that they've been a customer. So I think you're going to see further announcements. I think that's not going to, I think that's something I also kind of mentioned in just general retail predictions, a top 5 list that I put out earlier, like I mentioned. So I definitely think you're going to see more of that in 2019 from GNC and Vitamin Shoppe. My final one that I want to kind of talk about of an outlandish, functional CPG, sports nutrition type of industry prediction is, I believe MusclePharm goes private in 2019. And I think that's going to be coming from a private equity firm that purchases MusclePharm. I think at this point, though MusclePharm has been, kind of seeing top line revenue grow again, you still are having some issues totally completing this turnaround effort in a way that could be done more effectively. I think going private, going dark in terms of the investment community, I think would be a positive move for MusclePharm in 2019. There's still a lot to go with the turnaround efforts, and though there's some some positive moves that are happening with MusclePharm, I think it's important for them to look at the structure of their business a little bit closer in 2019. So my prediction would be that maybe a private equity firm goes out and purchases MusclePharm and then takes them private. So I hope you guys enjoyed this piece of content. This one I tried to keep a little bit short. Didn't want to completely go into a lot of the speculation around things or some of my reasoning behind things, because I just wanted to keep this lighthearted, clean, and fun for everybody to kind of consume this a little bit. I'm sure if any of these things kind of come to fruition over 2019, I'm going to be making a deeper dive video for these things, but this was just kind of introducing some thoughts, maybe getting some minds going, thinking about things a little bit differently, and hopefully you guys got some value, some entertainment out of this. I just want to make sure again I state, this is not investment advice. This is not insider information. Don't think this is anything more than just a lighthearted video. So if you guys did enjoy this, hit that thumbs up button. It's right down below. It'll help me out a ton. If you guys haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, definitely do that. But just want to thank you guys for spending some time with me on this video. Hopefully I gave you guys some value out of return, and I'll see you guys on the next one.